What are some hidden dress codes people wear to identify themselves that you have to already know to notice? It's an old sailor's tradition to wear a golden earring. Don't know if it's just the Netherlands or worldwide, but some of the mainly fishermen towns here have their own specific type of golden earring. So if you see a Dutch guy wearing a big golden earring with a detailed design, you know he comes from a fisherman town. Golden earring tradition was historically done in case a fisherman would fall overboard. The golden earring could cover the costs of a proper burial. Pret rump. Someone told me a red hat in my town was a sign that you were selling meth. I was like, how did I not notice this, as literally every tweaker was wearing one. Some women wearing red pirate bandanas or cartoonish red logo-less ball caps. Cat hair means I have a cat. Hawaiians wear flowers behind left ear to signify married. Right ear to signify single. Apparently wearing something with upside down pineapples on it is to signal you and your spouse are swingers. If their shirt or pants are mildly magnetic, they are probably a machinist. Dirndl. Traditional German dress. If you tie your bow, from the apron, on the right it means you are single. Middle equals married and left is widowed. I believe. It has been a number of years since I was told about it, and I might have it backwards. In the armed services. It used to be, probably not so much now, you could identify an academy grad by the presence of a class ring. This would be an informal way to distinguish academy grads from officers who received commissions via other avenues, such as OCS. That's the reason academy grads were called ring knockers. During promotion time, when such source of commissioning information would be masked in the personnel files being reviewed by the board, the official photo, which everyone was required to have, would show the hands. The presence of the ring indicated to those on the board inclined to look out for fellow academy grads who was a member of the club, even when that information was, officially speaking, masked. I'm Jew-ish. I live in Scotland. And there's not many of us around. But I've been to synagogue and lived in Israel. And I can easily spot a married Orthodox Jewish woman out of a crowd. Mostly by her wig. But also her dress style to an extent. It's such a natural distinction for me that I didn't realize it wasn't immediately obvious to others until I was driving with my friends by Loch Ness and we saw a big gathering. Mostly behind trees, and someone said something along the lines of, I wonder what's going on there, and I replied, looks like an organized Jewish event, because I saw several mothers and their kids by the road and I instantly recognized them as Orthodox Jews. My friends looked at me as if I had a supernatural jidar because there weren't any obvious men in sight wearing heavily recognized religious clothing, think kippahs, head caps or payet hair curls etc. Military uniforms tell you a lot about the person wearing them beyond their name and rank. You can tell what campaigns they've been involved in, what professional military education courses they've completed, their proficiency with weapons, their occupational specialty and their level of proficiency, how many years they've served, and, at least in the U.S. Air Force, their MACOM, wing, and possibly squadron of assignment. Another little secret of the military dress code has to do with hats. A person in uniform wearing a hat indoors indicates that they are armed. The weapon may be concealed or carried openly, but it is a fast way to determine who in a room has weapons. I remember being told once that, in the UK, when a man wears red socks it means he's made it or is financially secure or something of that ilk. My socks are white or black. Or occasionally Batman socks. If you're actually rich, you're not flashing brands. The rich of California wear subtly expensive workout or hiking clothes as much as humanly possible. Patagonia, North Face, Columbia, etc. Logos are gauche. Also, for women's jewelry, you'll see a lot of subtle wealth and minimalism, nothing big or clunky or super sparkly. My experience mostly in LA, Santa Barbara and SF. Here in Japan, tattoos are related to the Yakuza. Meaning, whether you are a Yakuza or not, people with tattoos are not allowed in numerous establishments like public baths, etc. Yakuza don't generally flash their tattoos to the public, so they generally use long sleeve shirts. Sometimes when they use short sleeves clothing they would use arm sleeves to cover up the arm tattoos. It's a dead giveaway that these people are, or have been, mafia related. If they have a stainless steel pinky ring on their dominant hand, they probably graduated from an engineering school in the States or Canada. Some good ones to add: black pocket squares. Especially in butt pockets. Often correlate to BDSM participants. Depending on where you go, the pocket it's placed in can tell you if someone is a DOM or a sub. Some places use different colors, but the black square is the most universal. So I've seen. Similarly, a lot of people think of BDSM collars as big, heavy things, usually made of leather. While this is often true during play, those who are collared often wear a day collar. Typically this is a necklace, often with some sort of locking motif or chain, but not always. However, a more common one for people who can't wear necklaces is anklets. Given that anklets are not as popular in regular life, I often find myself asking if someone is into BDSM when I see a chain anklet around their ankle. Old money dresses differently than new money. So this is probably a very specific Norwegian thing. But the color of your hat is signaling your availability when hiking in the mountains. Red hat means taken. Green means available, and orange means that you're open for a chat. This is important knowledge if you're trying to pull a Norwegian. Because hiking is the only, non-alcoholic, activity where a Norwegian will ever talk to a stranger. Ever. This thread is making me mildly anxious about what messages I am inadvertently sending because of random clothing and jewelry choices. LOL. Reminds me of when I was in elementary school and we were told not to wear red or black to school because they were associated with certain gangs. If someone is wearing a belt but have the buckle on either side of their hips instead of the middle, it means they spend all day leaning over engine bays of hot rods and don't want their belt buckle scratching the paintwork. I grew up spending a lot of time in the Great Lakes and overall sailing culture. The height of manliness is a pink MT. Gay baseball cap. No. I'm not joking. The caps are given out at major sailing races. Since MT. Gay rum has a sponsorship. The caps are originally red, but if you've used and had one for a long time, it fades to pink. You want one. You can also tell, in port, who is a local and who boats, by their dog. Locals like big doggos for guarding against animals and pulling sleds, huskies and husky crosses, and sailors like medium-sized, water-friendly doggos. Don't like to get very big ones because they're hard to lift in and out of boats, eat, and poop out more. But don't like toy dogs either, because they're not tough enough to stand the weather and the water. Mostly Aussies, small retrievers, and the occasional tough terrier. Fleece North Face jacket. I'm crossing campus in the fall. Small stainless steel or iron pinky ring on your dominant hand is an engineer. Specifically an engineer who's pledged an ethics oath. Not exactly a secret, but not well known either. Edit. Specified which finger. Ties in specific designs can signify which university you attended or private club you belong to such an extent that with certain shoemakers in the UK, you have to prove membership before you can buy the tie. The style of kippah/yarmulke Jewish men wear can tell you how religious they are, where their family's from, their political views, which sect they are/which rabbi they follow, etc. When I was a teenager, a lot of the working class, multi-generation in the area kids from the very rural West Virginian area I moved to wore these, to my teenage eyes, very funny looking polka dot caps with downward pointing brims. At the time I just assumed they got them at the store that still had a lot of 70s dead stock, and it was a trend because they were cheap and it was the 90s and we were irony poisoned. It was pretty widespread across a few counties though. They were mostly worn by the kids who already had decided they were not going to college, whether by their own choice or their own circumstances. They were welders' caps. Welder is an aspirational job in the area. If you plan to stay there after graduation, they were signifying they planned to stay and work in the same field their dads did. It didn't even occur to me what it was all about until some high school reunion. There is a code when it comes to livestock and equestrians that are often not well known. It's most common with horses, but I have seen them used for other animals such as goats who are used to carry supplies when hiking on very rough terrain. These colors can often be universal and can be represented by a ribbon on the tail, or a collar/halter of the same color. Red means the horse/animal has a tendency to kick/bite. Yellow, and sometimes blue, means that they are a stallion/intact male, which are known to be moody or aggressive. Green means the horse/animal is inexperienced. White means the horse/animal is for sale. Pink is sometimes used if the female horse/animal is generally moody or in heat. In China, your zodiac year is your unlucky year, so your unlucky year occurs once every 12 years. The way to mitigate the unluckiness of the said year is to wear some form of the color red each day. Doesn't need to be a complete red outfit. Just something that has red as a part of the pattern. But wearing red every day is a dead giveaway for their age, 24, 36, 48, 60, in the workplace. Thus explaining the phenomenon of the red underwear gift. The red underwear is a way to beat the unluckiness of your zodiac year while blending in. So some water cooler talk could go like, hey, did you notice that insert name has worn red 3/7 days this week? Is she 24 or 36? Fascinating stuff. Anything with pineapple print on clothing while on a cruise means you are swingers. Quite a specific one. But if you are walking round the court/legal district in an English, or Welsh, city, you can tell who is a barrister going to/ from court because even though most no longer wear robes/a wig, they do still wear detachable collars and these sort of straight white ribbon things instead of ties. But with an otherwise very sober dark suit and white shirt. Also they're often carrying a big suitcase full of books and authorities. Thanks for watching.